Hi and welcome to the channel. It's come up to Christmas, so I thought I'd better put another i5 video to keep some of my subscribers happy, because I've been wandering off track a little bit doing a few gaming videos, which I will come back to. I'll probably do another one or two here and there, but I'm going to take things a little bit more easier now. I've got to do a little bit more exercise, get out, do a little bit more walking, because I'm getting a bit older now, and had a little check up at the doctors recently, and the old kidneys are get a little bit of a disease, nothing too much to worry about, but kind of trying to keep that under control. So I'm not going to sit down too much flicking through eBay for every 5 minutes looking for stuff. I'm going to try and get out and do my regular, I used to do about a 5 mile walk every day, so I'm going to try and get that back into check. I've been doing that the last week or so now. So yeah, I'm going to spend a little bit less time, but I still want to bring a video here and there. Hopefully I want to get something along the line to put up i5 wise, and a little bit of gaming as well. I think trying to just tick me over, really keep me interested. So anyway, today's video is about what I've kept out of all the units over the years. I've whittled it down now to just 4 units. Sold a few recently, going to let you know what I just sold recently, etc. But also going to mention the next couple of videos I'm putting up as well. These are all before Christmas. It's probably going to be today or tomorrow. They're probably all going to come up. And these are about amplifiers and receivers from 1977. Why have I picked that year? Well, it's a kind of magazine I've got hold of to get some pictures of that year, and it's a it's quite a good one because it's got quite a lot of amplifiers and receivers. 2 blokes do a review. I'm going to mention them in a minute. This is really thanks to Alex Mitchell, kind of put this idea into my head. So thanks Alex for that. So it's another couple of videos. But this is kind of like the golden period of hi-fi as well, between the 70s and 80s. A lot of people say that's the golden years, shall I say. So I think it's well worth putting together. Also, the 2 blokes doing these reviews, this is for a magazine called Hi-Fi Choice, is Angus Mackenzie. Now he does the receivers, and when you look him up, if you want to type his name in, he's renowned. He's very, very highly regarded back then for hi-fi, for audiophile. Worked for the BBC, sorting out their sound, etc., setting up all that. So he's held in high regard, and he's going to be doing the receivers. So I think it's worth listening to and seeing what he says about receivers back then. And these are receivers that come up on eBay quite often. Now I'm keeping it, he does an whole range of receivers. I'm not going to do them all. I'm going to keep it in a price bracket that this channel's all about, really, between, I think they start off about £90 back then and £200. So that's the kind of price gap they went for back then. And to be honest with you, I've looked a few of them up, not all of them, and they kind of, that's what they sell for now, between 90 and about £200, that kind of mark. So I'm going to mention that as well. No, sorry, before I'm going to mention it, I'm going to be talking about that particular kind of stuff in that price bracket. I'm not going to go to the higher ones. It's going to get too complicated, and you're going to say this sounds good and this sounds good, but you've got to keep it in that price bracket. And talking about price brackets, I just want to mention also price brackets before I talk about the amplifiers, is that I've been watching eBay recently, a few bits and pieces, only now and again, like I say, I'm going to go on it now, but I've been looking about, and I see this here, this 331, I think some bloke wanted £399 for it, and I think one sold for about £300 as well recently-ish, and to be honest with you, it's a good sounding receiver. It sounds all right, but I think you're paying over the top if you know, obviously to your budget, your pocket, what you're earning, all that kind of stuff, but I think you've got to keep it like real kind of thing. You know, if you're paying £399 for this, you're going to find something better than that for £399, I would have thought. So bear that in mind. Don't pay too much. Same with amplifiers and that. Don't pay over the top for stuff. I mean, you may pay, for instance, Marantz. You may pay over the top, because I think there you're buying more of the looks than you're buying the sound. You're buying more of the looks. That looks fantastic, and you're paying that extra premium. People call it Marantz tax for that looks. For them looks, you're paying over the odds for the looks, and the sound and that comes second best kind of thing. That's the second part you're paying for. So be careful. Don't pay over the top for stuff. Keep it realistic. You may think you're seeing these reviews, like I say, for instance, me and other channels on there. The main channel, shall we say, recommends this. You know what I'm talking about. He recommends this, but keep it realistic. Don't pay over the top. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to be talking about a bloke called Angus Mackenzie in these 2 videos. He's going to be doing the receivers. If you look him up, like I say, he works for the BBC, etc., held in high regard. So that's one bloke, and the next bloke is a bloke called Ford, and he does the amplifiers in this particular year, 1977. This is amplifiers, again, you're going to see on eBay quite regular. So it may be worth watching these 2 videos, I think, to see what they've come up with, what they think about a few different amplifiers, and that there's quite a few in the range here too. I think one of them's got 31 amplifiers, and I think the receivers is about 19 receivers, something like that it is. I can't remember exactly, but you're going to have me talking a few comments of what they say about it and that. And anyway, I think it's a video to look out, you know, to have a look at, may interest a few people. So that's that. So why did I keep these, and what have I sold recently? Now recently, I've sold my Marantz 1030. That went, I can't remember who I sold that to, I do apologise if I've got your name there, but that was been sold, and I think I sold that for about £120. So that was it was in mint condition, and I think that was a fair price for what it was. I think that's a fair price. I think the person that bought it is quite happy with that as well. I think they do go for a little bit more than that probably, but there you go, that's the Marantz 1030 that I sold. I sold the Sansui 222, that nice little, quite a rarish kind of amplifier, not easy to get hold of. Again, that was in mint condition. I sold that for £200, and I think the person that bought that was quite happy with it. And to be honest with you, it's quite a nice amp. You know, it was hard for me to narrow this down to just 4, and I wanted to keep it to about 3, but I've kept it to 4. I just preferred the 101 over that 222. It's close, but just thought this gives a little bit more detail. So I went with this. I've kept this over the 222. Okay, yeah, and I had a bloke come round called Colin. He come round and he bought 3 items off of me. He couldn't help himself. Colin, I say hello, Colin, if he's watching. But he does watch. He likes to watch, I know that. He bought the Sansui 210 off of me for £80. Again, that was in really good condition. He bought the Sansui 200, that little receiver I like quite a lot there, and I recapped that and everything, and I only sold it for £40 box. And the reason was because when I tried it, I didn't really notice first of all, but I had it on very, very low volume after I recapped it. Didn't notice it because I kind of have it on medium, etc. I thought I just heard a little bit of distortion coming in the bass there, and I thought, it just sounds a little bit. So I mentioned that in the advert. But prior to him buying it, I did open it up again and check everything, and I thought I found a dry joint. Probably when I've desoldered the capacitor using the little wick, probably took a bit too much solder off. So I've redone it, and after that, to be honest with you, I couldn't hear the distortion, but that was only for a day or two. So I didn't want to set it as perfect, just in case. Did mention that to him, but again, that was in mint condition, that was in excellent condition. So I sold that for £40, and I sold him my little quad, that Sansui QR 500. Again, I think that was in very good condition. I sold that for £60 in the end, as he bought the other bits and pieces. So I think he got a good value for money there. I think, you know, he'd be pleased with him. So why did I keep these out of them? I mean, like I say, this was close, this was hard, very hard. Got to make a decision. I wanted to make a bit more room, didn't want to have too much clutter around the house. So I went for the 101, like I say, great amp. I really like the 101. It was probably going to stay no matter what. Oh, I sold my Sansui 317 as well. I did sell that recently. And the reason is, it was just a bit more I just like this kind of valvey kind of sound, got that tingle, that kind of little bit of valvey sound to it. And that's why I kept this here really. And I just needed probably just a couple of amplifiers. I needed to keep the A160, the Cambridge A60, and not the 160, the 60. That's a great British amp, really like that, and that was going to stay no matter what kind of thing. So like I say, just rather than that 317, which is still a great amp, I just thought just that little transistor, on the transistor kind of sound. I wanted to kind of keep the valve sound. That was more me. It kind of went with my speakers I want to keep as well. So it just all kind of, that's the kind of sound I kind of went for. But I've got that little bit of transistor sound with this ears anyway. So that's been kept. I've kept these two. You may think, why have I keep 2 receivers, a 441 and a 331, when I could have probably kept the 210, the 200, or that Q50, which I liked. It's just that these were just, this has been recapped and it sounds quite nice now. Just got to do a slight adjustment on it. I just found out that the centre stage is just slightly off here. I think I've kept all the caps that I replaced to the same kind of values, ESR, etc. A couple of transistors I replaced, I think, in this were matched as well, but it's probably a resistor or two just slightly gone off spec, and it's just where the centre should be centre, the centre stage kind of, it's just slightly to the left there. Just going to do a few adjustments there, probably change the resistor value just slightly, just to bring that in. So I'll probably bring a video up with that. I'll be doing that. It's just something I want to get it bang on. If I've got it now set up and all sounds nice, I just want to get it spot on. So that's probably just a resistor or two just wandered slightly off spec, and I'm just going to measure them and try and bring it bang on, so it's nice. I've done a good job on it, shall we say. Kept this because it hasn't been recapped, and I just wanted to have that non-recap sound kind of thing. These are very close sounding wise, they were until I recapped it. This is just slightly altered a little bit now, it's been recapped, got a little bit more detail, etc. in it. But I wanted to keep that. Another reason, these units, all these units here are easy accessible if I need to repair them as well. If anything goes wrong in the next few years, etc., these are easy repairable for me as well, where one of the two of the others are a little bit more complicated, especially the QR500. It's got 4 amps in there, and it's very hard to get into, but it still sounds fine now. There's nothing wrong with it or anything like that, but I'm just kind of thinking in the future a little bit as well. So that's the reason I've kept these 4 units here, and that's what I'm going to keep. I've got 5 sets of speakers now. I've got the AR25s, this is the Dynaco, it's not the AR, the Dynaco A25s, the Dynaco A35s. These are Solarvox, here I'm using at the moment, TK50s. I've got the Wolfdale Diamond 3s, and I've got a pair of Monit Audio bronze B2s. And I'm going to have to whittle them down to probably just 2 pairs of speakers. I think that these TK, even though I haven't quite got these exactly right, I'm going to have to do a bit more wadding in these, a bit more stronger, kind of thicker wadding, just to get these bang on dead right, pretty much the same as the R25s have got. I keep saying that, Dynaco A25 should I say, have got, and the Dynaco A35s have got, they've got quite a thick 4-inch wadding, it's quite dense. I haven't quite got that with these TK 50s made by Solarvox, which are kind of based on the Dynaco A45s-ish. Once I get that right, I think they're going to sound really, really good. I've recapped them, and that's come out well now. They kind of got slightly better over the period of time I've been using them. Pretty much like this amplifier here. This has got slightly better over the more time I've been using it as well after the recap. So yeah, I'm pleased with the units I've got. Going to try and narrow them speakers down. Probably them, like I say, them 50s, them Solarvox 50s are probably going to stay because they've got that really nice bass to them. 2 bass drivers there, really got a big cabinet, it's got a nice bit of bass to them, so I'm probably going to keep them for certain and just pick one of the other sets, and it's probably going to be, to be honest with you, the Dynaco A35s, because they sound quite nice as well. So that's it, but I'm going to run through all my amplifiers now with these sets of speakers, swapping them about and just narrow it down, giving me a bit more space. And you can only listen to certain things a certain amount of times, kind of thing. Can't keep swapping them all about. I'm going to try and keep it nice and easy for myself, etc. So that's it. That's really today's video. Like I say, really to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Yes, so we'll get some money somewhere along the line, a nice prosperous, but really an healthy New Year. That's the main thing. Have a nice healthy year. Happy Christmas, Happy New Year, all that kind of stuff. Like I say, look out for them 2 videos coming up very, very shortly as well. I think they're very interesting, and look up them 2 people if you get a chance. Angus Mackenzie and Hugh Ford, very well regarded back then in the 70s and probably into the 80s probably, but yeah, 2 people to look out for, and some interesting facts about them if you look up online. Okay, that's it. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.